All right, this time, maybe it works. All right, let's see how that looks. Just gonna check my channel. Just make sure that's how the stream looks. No, no, don't add to queue. Oh my goodness. Just watch it. All right, perfect. All right, bit of a delay, but that's fine. It's finally recording in the way I want to. Oh, that was a pain in the butt. Oh my goodness. All right, finally. All right, hey guys, it's Shane here at Tank Under Midges, and today we're reading through the White Dwarf Leagues of Votann edition. So this came out. When did this come out? Not too long ago, but I finally got a copy of it. So I wanted to read through it because, of course, it's got new Leagues of Votann lore, and we know how much I love Leagues of Votann. So finally, we might get some new answers to the newest army of 40k. So let's have a read, shall we? All right, so let's have a look here. Index Leagues of Votann. It's interesting it says index because that sort of means like not a codex. Um, it was sort of like how they did the mini codexes. They called them indexes, but you know it's weird how there's no new rules. They just said index, but whatever. Hailing from the galactic core, the species known as kin are hardy, resourceful, and technologically adept. Collectively, they live, toil, trade, fight, and conquer as Leagues of Votann. All right, so that's just highlighting the fact that they're called kin. Just like human, people are humans, these guys are kin. That is their name. Don't mind me just drinking a stout because that's exactly what I should be drinking while reading about Leagues of Votann. It only makes sense. All right, so for thousands of years, the people known collectively as the Leagues of Votann have dwelt in the galactic core and harvested the riches of that tumultuous region of space. Over millennia, they have fought, traded with, and served as mercenaries alongside many of the galaxy species. Yet, with the opening of the Great Rift, they face many new challenges and conflicts that threaten to destroy all they have striven so hard to forge. Kind of a long paragraph there, but that's all right. Yeah, so what do we get from that? Pretty much nothing new. we already knew sort of that. So apparently, but the core of the space is so much richer. I don't understand how it's sort of rich. Like, what do they mean by that? Oh well. Squat, powerfully built, incredibly hardy of mind, body, and spirit, the kin are uniquely adapted to life within the galactic core. They are cloned. They are a cloned species, birthed from machines known as crucibles that draw upon colossal respiratories of genomic. Of course, I'm going to mess up these words. Genomic information to craft a stable, healthy, and varied populace. Their numbers are enhanced further by Iron King, the Iron King, not Iron King, machine intelligences with mechanical bodies utterly dedicated to aiding their fellow living fellows. So valued are the Ironkin that they are afforded equal status within kin society, both in times of peace and war. So that's cool. They're acknowledging that they have their robot people with them, and I like how it pretty much, like the story I came up with, the short story, pretty much confirms like that's accurate, like the way I sort of portrayed it. So that's score for me. I was able to predict it right. The earliest origins of kin lie aboard the void-faring mining vessels. The generations of ancestors spent traversing the terrors of deep space have instilled with them an unwavering pragmatism and a sense of deep responsibility, a sense of personal responsibility. After all, in the depths of the void, the slightest lapse in concentration or abdication of duty may result in irreversible disaster. Waste, laziness, and even simple errors are considered the worst sins. Thus, kin societies formed a rigid survivalist culture, one bent towards the resolute toil and the acquisition of resources. This attitude has led other species to view the kin as driven by greed alone. Well, I guess that makes sense. I like how they put that. I mean, so far it doesn't really separate them from any other dwarf sort of society. It's very much exactly how you imagine a space dwarf would be. So they're not really adding anything sort of else to the society as it is. But that's all right. We'll see what else we got. All kin belong to a kindred except for a few outcasts, exiles, and oddities. I really wish they'd talk more about that. These conglomerates are between families and nations, ranging in sizes from few hundred kin to millions. The members of each kindred emerge from its crucibles and thus share a genetic bond. To their kindred, each kin owes their first and greatest allegiance. When not traveling the galaxy as traders or prospectors or making war, most kin live, train, and work within their kindred's core territory, referred to as the hold. The word hold, as with many kin terms, can be used to convey a multitude of meanings. Thus, when it's used in the context of a kindred's territory, it can refer to a range of structures. Some holds are fortress cities carved from soaring mountain ranges, or fusions of industrial complexes, strip mines, and settlements that honeycomb an entire world's surface. Others may be a deep space void station bristling with weapon batteries, chains of biodomes clinging to surfaces of asteroids, that's not a word. Behemotic is not a word, dang it. Processing vessels and their accompanying fleets, or even stranger and more wondrous marvels of technological artifice. So that's kind of neat. They're just saying they can live anywhere, essentially. That's all it's really breaking down. Every kindred is governed from a large spherical chamber constructed according to tradition known as a spankornod. I love how they make it sort of sound, vaguely Swedish there. Spankornod. Here gathers the Hearthspake, a ruling council of guild members, senior officers, and the military kin host and wise, cunning Grimnir. Despite the familial bonds they share, the members of the Hearthspake are given furious debate. I've never heard that word. I guess it means loud. That's great. When one has established a position and believes firmly that their chosen course of action is best for the kindred, they can remarkably obstinate in the face of opposition. However, whilst disagreement and debate are common and loud, few kin are self-serving by nature and having the interest of their kindred at heart at all times. The politicking common to the political arenas and other species is largely absent from the Spankonode. I don't know what it means by that. The politicking common to the politics. Okay, so they're just saying it's secret to them. Like they wouldn't let outsiders sort of into that area, I'm guessing. I mean, that makes sense. I wouldn't imagine they would anyway. Little side note here. Our holds are founded on 4 pillars. The first is a hearth. There burns the reactor that gives us light and power. The second is the forge. There the brokir craft our weapons, tools, and technology. The third pillar is the fane. There we Grimnir speak with the ancestor cause. The fourth and final pillar of the hold is the crucible. There we are given life, and there the orders of the embryo stand in vigil, ready to defend the place of their birth. Grimnir, Dorgi, Brockval. So that's kind of interesting. So far, what we're seeing is not a lot of new information. Like a lot of this, we already sort of knew from the book itself. So I guess if you didn't get a chance to read the book, though, The codex that came out last edition, I don't know if that's even still available. I guess, like, I think most places would have it because if you get the box set, it would come in that. I'm not sure if that's still for sale though. Anyway, the guilds. Guilds run through all strata of kin society. They are uniting bodies comprised of all those who perform a particular role or service within a region's space. Every guild is ruled over by its guild masters, who set the standards of accreditation, expected levels of quality, and tithes their members must pay. In theory, guilds exist apart from kindred affiliations. They are how they are how fair competition. Oh, they are how fair competition is maintained across kin kin space without overriding loyalties to some kindred interfering. So I guess pretty much you go with what I guess Monopoly is telling you to go with. Some smaller guilds, however, only intend to extend to a single hold or kindred. Not all kin seek guild membership, though guild members at hidebound mentality of guild members. In the case of larger guilds that span multiple kindreds, it is common for enterprising kin to establish guild rivalries. Healthy competition between these two rival guilds can, on some occasions, become heated. The most extreme disagreements have been known to result in armed conflict. So they're saying we will get sort of fights between, leagues just based on sort of these guild disagreements. Despite their fractious nature, guilds remain an essential component of kin society for smooth trade and transit between kindreds and providing a network of support for various industries vital to continued survival and prosperity. But the thing is, they seem to be just trading within themselves. So it's like they monitor, it's like they create their own money. They're creating their own sort of economy just to trade with itself. And it's sort of gets better if they say it gets better. It's a weird sort of where it's not a monarchy, but it sort of is. I think we have fireworks going off. That's fun. No one mind those. The leagues. Whilst a single kindred may possess impressive industrial and military might, even the largest pales compared to the smallest of leagues. Wait, what? Single kindred. Oh, there's, I guess, a group of people. Yep. Nearly all kindreds belong to a league. Preparing its colors and emblems with pride and offering trade, military assistance, and other support. The largest and most potent of leagues have existed for millennia, expanding their territories to incorporate large swathes of the galactic core. The most well-known and respected of these leagues include the huge and wealthy Great Arthurian League, the warlock Cronus Hegemony, and the stoical Urani Sutu Regulates. See, like I said, it's funny how they have these very corporate names, but they're not really corporate because I guess it's a government. All of it, it's saying like it's a business, like it's some sort of capitalist venture, but it's all just a ruling government. It's all like it's you're just working for someone in charge at the end of the day. Others, such as the once powerful Capellian League, have declined in their prominence as generations have passed. Yet more continue to be founded, like the many mighty kindreds, with the Cronus Hegemony and the certain Tok Mercantile Leagues being but two examples of those recently established. All right, I guess they're saying that there's going to be more leagues coming in the future. So, whilst we had all those leagues, starting up, like I think there was 5 in the original codex. I think they're just hinting there's going to be more. But as we're seeing from other codexes, it doesn't really matter because you're going to have just sort of your detachments that sort of apply to a lot of legions. So it'll be interesting. At the heart of each league lie the artificial intelligences for which they are named, the votann cores. Each league possesses at least one of these venerable thinking machines. Created in an age of myth, the votann was set into the void alongside the kin to provide them with knowledge and wisdom they would require to survive journeys across the galactic void. The nodes which the wisdom of the votann was initially distributed to the kin have now become the fanes that lie within the heart of all kindred holds. The passage of untold millennia has wrought many bizarre changes within the votann. The machine intelligences have been corrupted by an accumulation of data, exposure to strange phenomena and other factors, rendering them ponderous and to the point of senility. And yet they remain essential for the functioning of kin society, all-knowing repositories of lore and still living connections to the ancestors of the past. The few kin who can communicate with the votann are known as Grimnir, or living ancestors, and are respected by all sundry. All right, so pretty much what we already knew. Well, they sort of hinted at it. It's sort of a summary from what we knew in the Codex. The votann cores they've absorbed too much knowledge, and they don't have enough RAM. So without that random access memory, it's becoming very hard to process through all that information to find what's useful or not. So they get confused. So yeah, thus in my story, I had it connect with another one, and then it was able to get its memory back, essentially get back to functioning at full capacity. But it is interesting because they are very much like a religious type as well. But it's, you're worshipping a machine essentially. It's very much, I think they did that in one of the, no, it wasn't, one of the AI stories. It's an Isaac Asimov story where they believe basically the computer ruling thing is a god and is sort of communicating to them from a divine standpoint. So it's sort of weird because they've made their own gods, and you could say that that's true because they're created by this machine. It picks, the votann inside them picks who they are, their personalities, all that stuff is already predetermined, and they're created artificially. They don't have a choice. They didn't have parents and stuff. They were just created by this machine. So the machine becomes their father, their creator, and who to talk to. So it's very interesting how they've done it. It's almost like in Lord of the Rings, like when they started the dwarfs in Lord of the Rings, I mean, because they were basically given life. They were just dolls, clay sort of statues that were given life. And then they sort of just went on their way from then. But we're not talking about Lord of the Ring dwarfs now, but we may as well be. Anyway, prominent leagues. The kin do not possess single centralized bodies. Therefore, no one knows precisely how many leagues exist. There are some, however, whose names are well known throughout kin space, whose representatives have journeyed widely beyond the core. So we have our Great Arthurian League. Let's get a good picture of that. The Great Arthurian League claims to be the most extensive extant league. It has accumulated great wealth and power, consisting of over 200 allied kindreds, huge flotillas of void ships, and innumerable ranks of kin host warriors. Some storied Carls, including Uthar the Destined, victor of the Dead Star campaign, and the slayer of Gorback, the Iron Beast, led the Great Arthurian League oath bands to war. The League's traders and envoys have traveled widely through far space, trading with alien species and serving as mercenaries for the Imperium of Man. Of late, however, the Ogvyar warp storm has erupted into being on top on the northeastern border of the Great Arthurian territory has forced the League into a more aggressive stance. Whilst some of their Oathbands hold back the Chaos incursions into their League's heartlands, others set out to conquer the Imperial held systems beyond the galactic core as fallback positions should the worst occur. So I guess they're saying if they get taken out by chaos, they want to be able to fall back to Imperial space and sort of take that for their own. Which is kind of weird. Like, why would they really want to take Imperial space? Because it doesn't sound like it's got much they need anyway. Because as they mentioned, the Galactic core has all the resources. It has the most. So why would they want to go into Imperial space? Yeah, just to get that. But I guess it's just they're thinking of worst possibilities. They need somewhere to go live if they lose the core. The Trans-Siberian Alliance. Superior void farers, even by the lofty standards of the kin, the Trans-Siberian Alliance have explored more of the galaxy than any other league. The Han kin are renowned for their tenacity and ceaseless desire to explore the farthest reaches of the void and are held in high regard. Many of the Alliance's people sometimes serve with these ranger bands. Of course, I was about to say that they're like rangers. They're like dwarf rangers. Yes, they are. Due to their wanderlust, the territories of Trans-Siberian Alliance are numerous but thinly spread. Indeed, many of their holds exist far beyond the galactic core, enabling them to exploit resources many counterparts lack. However, the primary objective of this league's kins is to enrich the votann with knowledge. Ancestor worship is prevailed among the Alliance, and its fanes are almost always filled with offerings to the departed. Okay, so they're pretty much it's who you'd see outside of the core. You're most likely to run upon these guys just in normal space, just hanging about. The Cronus hegemony, militaristic by nature, the kin of the Cronus hegemony are renowned for solving most problems with the blade of an axe. The hegemony is a military superstate whose kindred are some of the largest and most aggressive known among the leagues of Votann. Relatively young compared to many of its peers, the Cronus hegemony was found less than a millennium ago when the Thane of Coronir kindred achieved self-awareness. This newly ascended Votann displayed an aggressive hunger for knowledge and raw materials, inspiring its kindred to resort to warfare and greater regularity than many of its competitors. Okay, so I guess it's smaller and it wants to be expansive. You know, its war thing is more, it wants to get to the same size as everyone else, is what I'm reading. Because it's, like I said, it's still weird that they're sort of rivals with each other. They're not just one big set. But I guess that keeps it interesting. Because it's just they don't really have a point of being rivals. It's like they're not, like it seems like they're able to get enough resources for everyone. And, you know, trading, it's like they keep the trade there. They keep the whole economy going just for the sake of it, just to keep everyone busy. Whilst if they all just work together, maybe they'd be more powerful. I'm just saying. The Ymir conglomerate exemplified the masterful artifice of the kin, experts in every form of manufacturing. Their brochure ensure the conglomerate's hold and fleets are sorry. Conglomerates hold replete. I don't know if replete's a word, dang it. With a marvelous technology and that their weapons of war are extremely lethal. Only kindreds whose brochure demonstrate exceptional craftsmanship and innovation are permitted to join the Ymir conglomerate, ensuring the League's reputation for technological mastery remains intact. Though smaller than many other leagues of Votann, the Ymir conglomerate possesses the greater concentration of advanced technology anywhere in the galactic core, and this equipment acts as a force multiplier whenever kindreds go to war. Okay, so I guess you sort of want to. They're sort of like House X from June. Man, I'm just bringing everyone into this conversation. So House X, of course, they'll support other houses for their own sort of wealth. So I guess that sort of gives a reason for why these guys are sort of different. They're focusing on different things. So some guys, the conglomerate, they're all like, yeah, let's spend all our stuff, working on technology. The Cronists are like, no, let's spend all our effort, getting all these soldiers. Yeah, but I still think they could have all of it. If they just work together, they could have everything. Oh, well. The Unari Sertur Regulates, known as Leagues of Votann as the URSR, this league and its kindreds have earned a reputation of survival against the odds. Courage and hardiness of and are the by watchwords by which this kin survives. The territories claimed by the URSS are heavy with potential threats. The awakened Necrons of Semitic dynasty, the raiding fleets of Orc privateer, Boggs the freebooter king, and splinters of Tyrannid hive fleets continue to plague URSR holds. The other kindred may have given ground in the face of such threats, yet the URSR steadfastly refused to withdraw. The reason for this obstinacy remains unclear. Well, yeah, they want to live, of course. That's a pretty good reason. The kin rarely acts. The kin rarely act thus without good cause, leading to rivals to some surmise the URSR are providing some side of significant worth, or are bound by a rashly sworn grudge against their encroaching foe that must be seen to its conclusion. So, it doesn't really explain much about these guys. Like they just seem to be on the edge of everything. Seems to have just taken the worst spots to live and to just sticking to it. I guess because I got nowhere better to be. It's not a great amount of information. All right, so let's have a look here. Dominating the core. Since the founding of the first holds, the bulk of the kin territory has been located within galactic core. Many of the galaxy void variant speeders avoid this region, which is known to be perilous to the extreme. Many are tales of incautious explorers and colonists disappearing with its anomaly-ridden embrace. And animality? Forget. This general policy of avoidance by other species has shielded the Leagues of Votann from many of the galaxy's broader conflicts, yet the galactic's core systems are far from devoid of foes. Orcs, in particular, thrive across its planets and have become the hated enemy of the kin. Oh, look, orcs and dwarves are mortal enemies. Who would have imagined that? Kin to be purged whenever they are found. Necron tomb worlds, too, have been disturbed by kin miners and explorers. This has resulted in lengthy and, some cases, ongoing conflict with the awakened androids. Ah, yes, they dug too greedily, too deep. You know what they awoke. Yeah, they're just doing Lord of the Rings there. Well, it's kind of fun. Like I assume it's supposed to be like a homage type thing. Tendrils of the Tyranid hive have reached up from beneath the galactic plane to probe the core. Isolated human colonies also exist to the edge of the core. None have truly prospered, and very few have posed a military threat to the Leagues of Votann. Well, that makes sense. No other species possess the formidable physiologies and specialized technologies of the kin. Thus, where rivals have failed to establish lasting domains within the core, they have prospered. Yeah, but you just said Necrons and Orcs are there. And, Orcs just adapt to anything, and Necrons don't, look, they're not alive. So it's pretty easy for them to survive in a lot of stuff, because they don't have to. The exceptionally hardy prospectors of the Chthonian mining guilds have braved the dangers of rendering down newborn stars. No, they haven't. That's impossible. siphoning dark matter from the embrace of singularities and extracting gases from volatile nebula. Yeah, that doesn't seem possible, but whatever. I guess it's the future. Kindred fleets are pulled and Kindred fleets pulled and sliced planets apart, deploying mobile refineries to process their harvested bounties. The first leagues were formed in aid in first league to form. The first leagues were formed to aid in gathering and refining such resources. Huge merchant fleets crisscrossed the entirety of the galactic core, dispensing this material wealth to holds far and wide. The domains of the kin grew, and the leagues of Votann rose to new higher power. Right, let's read the bottom part first. The Votann. Within each kindred thane stands their votann core, also known as the ancestor core. These machines are crucial to the kin as gods are more as to gods are to more spiritual spheres. That's what I was just saying. They are pretty much the god. They seem to worship them. They created them. It's like they have their own god that they can say, yes, it exists because it's physically here. He created me. I have evidence of that. Each kin would gladly sacrifice their lives to protect their holds core. Within the ancestor cores contain the self-organizing data slates and quantum info cores resides entirely their species accumulated knowledge, weapon blueprints, standard template constructs, schematics. Yep, they're STCs, confirmed. Philosophy and genealogical data, military tactics, survival techniques. All this lore and more is buried within the machine minds of the Votann. However, as millennia has passed, accessing the accumulated knowledge of the Votann has become even more complex. It seems probable that whoever created these devices had never intended them to be operating for as long as they have, nor perhaps were they equipped with subroutines necessary to wrestle with intellectual or moral dilemmas. Okay. So I guess they're asking them, what should they do with the trolley problem? And they're like, I don't know that. I just know how to build this out of this. With the sheer amount of data cataloged and filled by the kin has filled their mental storehouses to overflowing, the questions posed by the extant Grimnir to the Votann now require them to adapt processing methods through self-guided evolution and at times to request the gathering of further information or mechanical augments from the kin. Yeah, so basically what I went through in my short story. They're just not working anymore. They got too much stuff going on. They really need like a hard reset of these cores so they're able to work again. It is the desired fate of all kin to return to the Votann core upon death. Their bodies and minds are offered up to the Votann in the belief their experiences will enrich the machine minds of the core and aid further generations. Which is kind of funny because that's kind of like an Avatar. Like with the Na'vi, they had that tree that they all mind blended with, and then their memories and consciousness all went into the tree. But it's here and it's a machine. So that's another reference that we get out of this. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Where were we? The results of this great deal of pressure on all kin to live up to their ideals of ancestors by illuminating new corners of the galaxy, witnessing sights never before seen, and engaging in ventures to battle. Okay, so they're saying if I go out and see stuff that hasn't been seen before, I'm more likely to have like a better afterlife. Like what I see is most likely to be, stored and not just said, this information is pointless, we already have it. So that could be an interesting hook where you have these guys saying, yeah, sort of like Slayers. They're sort of like Slayer's Oath. I have to go do something really memorable if I want a good afterlife. And it's weird because, like I said, they have their afterlife already. They've confirmed that what created them is a physical being and has this sort of knowledge about them. So it's kind of, like a weird existential sort of dilemma here. where they know for certain things are. There's no like second guessing with this. It's physically there. The drive motivates forming prospects that journey beyond the core in search of material wealth, and even sees some kin serve as mercenaries on behalf of galaxy's other species. I wish they had rules for that. Like, I wish you could take votann sort of allies and armies. That would be really cool. The tradition of returning to the ancestors provides the kindred with the ultimate form of punishment. It is seen as a waste of resources to imprison those who commit crimes against the realm. Instead, these unfortunates are sent into exile, their names told to the votann, making ancestors aware of their failures and forbidding the transgressors from joining any other kindred or league. Okay, so they're saying there's a big. If you get blacklisted. So they're saying you can get blacklisted and that information spreads to other people. So that's kind of neat. They will die alone, far from home, and to be denied the ability to return to the accumulated experiences of their core, rendering the totality of their lived experience a complete waste. To the kin, there is no fate more terrible. So it's sort of like the opposite of being a slayer, though, in this case. If you get exiled, you sort of become like the android from Blade Runner, where he's got all that knowledge. He's seen the birth and death of stars or whatever, and now when he dies, that's all going to go to waste, and that's such a shame. Like drops of rain. I forget how that quote goes, but essentially that's what they're saying. They know that's going to be worthless, so they'll just go crazy, I guess. That'd be a good hook for an army, like a bunch of exiles who would just become complete nihilists. Yeah, that'd be neat. The origins of the kin, the League of Votann, are named in honor of Votann itself, an entity known as the Prime Ancestor, the Gilded One, or the Stone Mind. Some kin myths describe the Votann as not one being, but many, often represented in artworks as group of gleaming golden figures. Oh, golden figures, you say? I wonder what that is. Or many graven stone faces. The other myths claim that the votann was responsible for forging the crucibles and ushering the first of the kin out into the void. Some ascribed no divinity to votann, but speak of its eldest and wisest as the most mysterious first ancestors. The truth of the matter has been lost to history, and whilst it may lie within the votann cause, no Grimmer has thus phrased their question to receive an answer. Kind of like the the whole thing of this is just Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They built the Earth to answer the question, meaning of life, and it's all it's all a joke. It's all a joke. Pragmatic by nature, the kin give little weight to these myths, for they are too vague and symbolic to be treated as fact. Well, they can't give you a straight answer because they're trying to get a little bit of information from everything they're trying to access. So it just sort of comes out as gibberish, like weird prophecy, kind of like Eldar prophecy, where they get, we know this is going to happen and this is going to happen, but we can't tell you where. It may happen then. Just all, yeah. The kin do not fear the unexplained in the same manner as humans. They can accept reality as they find it and only dwell upon ancient past if it becomes relevant to their present. However, the kin deem few critical parts of their history indisputable. They refer to these as the first truths. These first truths state that their earliest ancestors departed from their homeworld almost undoubtedly pre-imperial Terra. Yeah, see, it just confirms it there. They left it very vague in the core rule book, and now they're like, no, it was Terra. So it kind of takes the mystique out of it, because they're saying, they were men of stone. You had men of gold, men of stone. Here they are. It's just summed up and confirmed. They also note that kin were a clone species from the beginning, and the Iron Kin have been in since the earliest days, and they set out to gather resources to prospect for, mine, and harvest the riches of galactic void. Yeah, so it's pretty much, I have the actual. Sorry. I have the actual rule book here. So in this, let's have a look. See if I can find Kin Society Origins. So pretty much, it just summarized these 2 pages in just one paragraph there. That's all that was. Where it's saying, yeah, with a typical pragmatism, kin myth blends into history. Mentions of who is the votann. It could have been the first ancestors. It could have been this. It could have been this. And then this just says, no, it was Terra, and they were always clones. And they always had men of iron with them. So this is not so much an expansion upon the the thing itself. It's more of a condensing of the information, which isn't bad. I would have just liked new information, and I guess it is kind of new because it's confirming stuff, but you know what I mean. All right. Clone skins. Kin myth blends into history around the same time the Kin fleet plunged into galactic core. At this time, the last references to the ancestors can be found, and the first mentions of ancestor cores, known collectively as votann, was made. The first ancestors are associated with change, responsible for the crafting stable clone skins that even now run through the Kin's gene pool. Okay, so they've just been around forever, essentially. That's fine. Where's my point? There. This broad pools means that whilst still a clone species, the kin are far from identical. The votann are thought to have hardened the kin physically and spiritually. Some accounts claim that this was done in response to a perceived threat, while others say it was undertaken in preparation for inhabiting the galactic core. Okay, so it's just saying they were made, by the men of gold to withstand, to be able to go where normal men could not. Clone skins grant the kin tougher and denser muscular, thicker bone structure, enhanced healing factor, and exceptional core strength. A more esoteric change worked on their spirits. The souls of the kin shine far more dimly within the warp than humans. The kin do not fall victim to rampant psychic mutation, as only those who process appropriate psychoactive clone skins can utilize the so-called barrier tech to interact with the Imperium. It is exceptionally rare, though not unheard of, for a kin to fall victim to the temptations of chaos. So the sign of confirming there the old lore where you had chaos dwarfs. They had some old artwork that was pretty cool. I remember those. So they're saying it can still happen, but it's rare. Because I guess being clone, it's kind of weird. Like, I guess you exist, therefore you have a soul, because you think, therefore you are. But it's weird. It's like, did gene stealers have souls then? Like the aberrants, like the different versions? Like, I guess they're all psychic, so I guess they must. It's a weird system. Beyond these most apparent benefits, there exist more specialized clone skins. Some in part improve reaction times, others enhance vision, provide extreme temperatures, some provide protection against cosmic rays, the crushing force of gravity. The list of benefits of clone skins offer is almost endless, and they have undoubtedly facilitated kin exploration and exploitation of the galactic core. It'd be cool if you could sort of make your own army and give them specific sort of abilities based upon sort of a list like this. Like, you could genetically create your own sort of kin. That'd be kind of neat. The Hankin, let's see. The furthest travel to the species, the Hankin function as scouts and prospectors, journeying beyond the galactic core into the wider galaxy. Bands of the Hunkin leave their kindred behind for decades, forging out into galactic wilderness, alien empires, and regions of long declared forbidden. To others, they are the boldest of kin for journeying so far from holds, and of these adventures risk dying far beyond their kin's borders, never returning to their ancestor cause. That's pretty noble, I guess. The Hernkin provide significant benefits to the Leagues of Votann, for they often first encounter identified impeding perils, gathering of ore cords, the approaching of vanguard of Tyranids, and the presence of hidden webway routes. These threats have been unveiled by the Hernkin pioneers and are dealt with typically by kin efficiency. The Hernkin also identify and evaluate potential trading partners and locate valuable resources to be exploited. I like how they say exploited there. They are greedy capitalists. The Hernkin are considered to be invaluable to the leagues and well equipped to face the inherent dangers of their role. They possess the most advanced and robust scout ships in the Kindred arsenal, piloted by the Void Masters of great skill and renown. I like how they say there are Void Masters. There are people who fly the ships. That'll be cool if we see them more in future. A wide variety of armored gunships, rugged exploration vehicles allow the Hernkin to traverse even the most hostile alien environments. Their enviro-hardened void suits are implemented by an impressive range of portable and vehicle-mounted weapons, field-generated survival gear, pantry sectors, capable of defecting natural resources to the kin so desire. See, they say that, but they're quite clearly just wearing big furry coats. Like on tabletop, these guys have got a 4-up armor save, so they can't be wearing that powerful of armor if that's all the protection they have. And they're wearing these coats over their suits, which should probably be hitting them anyway. So that how much the actual fur coats are actually doing to protect them is pretty it's unbelievable. Whatever. It's a space coat. It can do whatever it wants. This is cool. The mining guilds pretty much sets them up as being slayers because, as you'd imagine, working in a mine all day would make you pretty strong. While the Han can locate the fresh veins to be exploited, the Chthonian mining guilds are tasked with harvesting them. With a reputation for fearlessness, the Chthonians will brave hazards and extremes of environment that other kin would balk at. The kin of the Chthonians would take great pride in contending with violent gravstorms, radiated nebulae, blazing volcanic planetoids, the event horizons of black holes. See, none of this seems survivable, even if you are like superhuman. Like, how do you survive something like that? Naturally occurring resources are not only ones that Chthonians covet, the plasma, power plants, Promethean stockpiles, void-faring cargo ships, and fully functional industrial complexes of a species are viewed as no different than the veins of precious ores waiting to be claimed. All right, so they're thieves. The Chthonians will just come in and just steal all your stuff that isn't nailed down. They are the blood ravens of the Votann. War is wasteful, so the Chthonian guilds usually attempt to acquire these riches through trade alone. If such measures fail, however, then violent acquisition is to be viewed by the Chthonian guilds as an obvious next step. After all, those who want something and fight the hardest for it deserve to possess it. I don't really agree with that sentiment, but I can see why they think that. They think they deserve it if they're willing to fight and die for it, I guess. Yeah, that's not a good tactic. Not all miners opt to join the Chthonian Guild. Many unaffiliated mining stations and void harvesting rigs are scattered across the League's base. Chthonian accreditation, however, comes with great benefits. Most of the Chthonian guilds operate within their own fleets of void ships, giving them an edge amidst fierce competition for the richest claims. They are also willing to finance their members' surgical augmentation to ensure future success. All right, so they're cyborgs as well, of course. While most kin miners possess clone skins that imbue them with dense bone structures, extreme tolerance to radiation, vacuum, hardened circulatory systems, and other enhancements, Chthonian guild members are known to submit to additional surgical procedures. These may include the fitting of reinforced skull plates, manipulation of and strength enhancing bionics, artificial organs, and other equipment designed to aid them in their roles. Should their mining interest or league territories be threatened, the Chthonians will gladly fight alongside the Hearthkin and Hernkin, serving as sappers, combat engineers, or line breaking infantry. Chthonian berserkers wielding concussion mauls and plasma axes are particularly effective in melee combat, bludgeoning and blasting their foes apart with brute force. Basically, they're slayers because they don't wear armor. For some reason, they really should be wearing armor. And the Brokir, these engineers and scientists of the kin, the Brokir operate the forges that exist within every kindred's hold. There are some most skilled techno artificers in the entire galaxy. They use incredible bounties of the galactic core and previous lore of the votann to craft devices of supreme quality and durability. The technologies ranging from standard clothing items to advanced vehicles and lethal weapons forged by these master artisans have contributed significantly to the survival of their species. They are often aided in their duties by their cog units, robotic assistants that perform assembly tasks under the guidance of their masters. The most skilled of the Brokir rise to that position, the Forge Master, overseeing Kindred's Forge and becoming prominent voices in the Hearthspake. At times of war, Brokir often go to war as part of the kin host, maintaining kin war engines and testing their newest and most lethal creations in battle. Yeah, pretty much it's the tech marines, whatever. That's not really useful information. All right. How many more pages are there? This is basically the last couple of pages. All right, so the kin host. The military forces are giving kindred are known collectively as its kin host, mass soldierly, iron hair elites, war engines, and artillery, combined with auxiliary forces drawn from non-military forces such as the Hankin and Chthonians, to serve as a potent force capable of going toe-to-toe with most armies fielding galaxy other species. So that's interesting they mention artillery. I would really like to see some artillery in the game. That would be really good. Kin hosts are ordinarily formed around solid infantry corps, the most numerous, which are the Hearthkin. These stoic and dependable warriors are technically citizen soldiers rather than full-time professionals. Most have trades. Other roles that they focus on in times of peace. However, as members of the kin host, they undergo regular and rigorous training regiments to ensure the readiness for war. All kin take great pride in mastering any assigned tasks. These soldiers are no different. They are well disciplined and boast great martial prowess. Some Hearthkin bands even require prospective soldiers to undergo tests to demonstrate their endurance, marksmanship, aggressions, tactical news, and courage before permitted to join their ranks. All right, you just gotta prove you're good to be a soldier. You don't just get in. Yep. Those aspiring to serve a kin host typically boast clone skins suited for such roles. They may, for example, be resilient, swift, and thought and action, able to see in low light conditions, possess exceptional healing factors. In addition, these physical and mental attributes, kin host soldiers are well equipped. The forges of the kin host prioritize arming and training soldiers, placing the importance of this task above all most essential hold maintenance tasks and void ship constructions. Thus, the Hearth can go into battle clad in hardened void armor and wielding an array of lethal weapons. So it's another case of we're taking valuable resources where they're needed and putting it straight into the military. The military comes first, and they have a higher military budget than any other country. Where have we seen that before? Those kin who excel in the arena of war may be promoted to the rank of Thane, which roughly translate into Low Gothic as squad leader. It is an honor which Thanes strive up to live. Those who have truly excelled in battle may be inducted to the Einherjar ranks. These elite soldiers serve as bodyguards. They serve as special structures, boarding parties, and the like. Their trademark equivalent is their exo armor, though these servo-assisted power armor suits can deflect even anti-tank fire, greatly enhancing the wearer's strength. They can also be fitted with a wide range of weapons to transform the Einherjar champions into living instruments of destruction. So basically, it's the same as Space Marines. You do good and you become a veteran. You do better, and then you get your Terminator ranks. Basically, I forget what it's called. I'm trying to remember in Dawn of War what you unlock, but basically, yeah, Terminator honors. Kin host are led into battle by Carls, experienced war leaders who grasp the military tactics that have been provided to battles beyond count. Carls are provided with the most potent weapons of all, and their armor is adorned with the heraldry of Holden League, shield generators, and esoteric technologies designed to enhance their lethality and ensure that the survival. Kin military doctrines value the lives of every soldier, regardless of rank or status. The the intelligent use of lives and materials is always prioritized. Rarely will a Carl waste, either in the name of anger, vengeance, or personal pride. All right, that makes sense. They're because it sounds like they have a lot of money and they have a lot of resources and stuff, but essentially they don't have as many big numbers as you might think. The swearing grudges. The kin rarely turn to warfare as the first resort. However, there are those enemies whose actions test even the patience of the most reasoned kin. Those who repeatedly shame and insult the kin, intrude upon and despoil their territories, or perpetuate great horrors against the people may become focus of a grudge. In rare situations, the kin may appear to discard the perspective that ordinarily guides their actions. When a grudge has been sworn, they will expend their lives and materials into shocking volume to ensure their designated foe's destruction. Kin sometimes form into grudge bands, coming together to swear bindings of oaths, to quest and fight until the grudge is settled, or everyone who swore that oath has been slain. To those who have limited contact with the kin, such behavior is seen as anachronistic in the extreme. To the kin, however, the swearing of grudges is deep rooted within their cultures. The ancestors believed to judge those who allow such nemesis to endure harshly. Well, that's just straight out of, that's just dwarfs. That's straight out of normal Warhammer Fantasy dwarfs. So that's fair enough, I guess. And active war zones. The kin possess territories throughout the core and beyond, many of which have faced repeated attacks of various foes. The opening of the Great Rift has exposed more holds endangered. Many species within whom the kin coexisted within the core have been ejected from the territories by devastation and now vie within the leagues of Votann for habitable worlds. Meanwhile, humans, Eldari, and other potential foes have been swept into the core on shifting tides of the Imperium. See, how are they supposed to? The Imperium is a weird name for the warp. Igniting further conflicts. In response, some leagues have, for the first time in many millennia, begun to look beyond the core to settle new planets. Okay, I guess they're just sick of everyone. They just want to take it so no one else, comes and bothers them. Ogvar, the largest of the warp storms, has infringed upon the galactic core. Ogvar's pile has fallen over the worlds at the northeastern edge of the Great Arthurian League. From its depths have poured the forces of chaos, including bloodthirsty demons of Khorne, world eaters, war bands, and more of the monstrous foes. Under the peerless command of Karl Uthar the Destined, the Great Arthurian forces have driven many of these foes back. Yet, whilst Ogvar remains, the conflict drags on. The fighting has expanded beyond the core, with human worlds embroiled in the conflict. The Kalnath expands. Caught in the grip of the multi-faced conflict involving orcs, Tau, Tyranids, and humans, Leagues of Votann, most notably the elements of the Trans-Hyperion Alliance and the Crogenous Hegemony, seek to exploit the conflicts to seize bountiful worlds salvaged in the wreckage of the void-stricken warships and establish new holds. All right, so they're pretty much like we saw them in Battlefleet Gothic, where you have the Demiurge Brotherhood. They're just there to basically take what's left. Whatever's left over, what's destroyed, they'll just come in and take over. They're just being opportunistic here, not really picking a side, which I guess is smart. And Warzone Bastor, far beyond the borders of the Kin territory, the Bastor subsector finds itself in the full-scale Tyranid invasion. I like all the Tyranid talk because it's very much, it's homage to their original squatting, where they were all eaten by Tyranids. Like, the Tyranid fight just keeps going on. As the Imperium struggles to hold back, Xenos swarms, Kin mercenaries, and pioneers flood into the overrun areas, offering their services to desperate human defenders and prospecting for new claims. League hunter guilds have also journeyed to the Bastion subsector to attack and harvest the Tyranids, known to the Kin as the Bane, and render them down for their constitutional minerals. Oh, that's funny. They're taking the Tyranids and they're bringing them down to be reconstituted, much like the Tyranids did to them. They did a reverse onto the Tyranids by the look of it. So maybe they have a technology that allows them to basically remove like Tyranid and Orc spores or whatever, so they don't replicate just from single pieces of DNA without using just fire. I would have also liked some new artwork. Like, the artwork's cool, it gets a good sense of things. I like this piece here because it shows, it looks like there's some sort of spaceships there or something. It's hard to tell, but yeah, I mean, it would be good if we could see some spaceships. I guess we can try and look for any hints that we might be getting something new, yeah. And the rest is just the campaign rules, which I won't really go into, because... But yeah, it's sort of talking about grudges. It's just rules for the game. That's kind of neat. More pictures. More. I haven't even played Crusade yet. I need to, but yeah, we haven't had a chance to really do it. Crusade relics. Yep. Battle version. I like how it gives you all the information, but that kind of hints that the fact that we're getting it all here in this magazine kind of hints that we're not getting a codex for a long time. Because they did that with Sisters of Battle. We got those indexes in the White Dwarf for the fact that we weren't actually getting a codex for a long time. So the fact that we're getting all these Crusade rules kind of hints that this will have to tide you over till you get your codex, because the codex is not going to be for a while. So have it now. So that's kind of a downer. I love this artwork though. Yeah, there needs to be more Void Shield sort of thing. It very much reminds me of Aliens, with the whole land fortress there, because they're there to survey the fallen ship and stuff. Yeah, very much Aliens vibe, where they're coming in and just scavenging off this sort of lost Imperial ship. Yeah, very cool sort of pictures here. Like I said, I would have liked more artwork, but I guess this works pretty cool as well. And added some nice touches there. The diorama, yeah, I like how they put this guy scanning up. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Uh-oh. Oh, it is Aliens. It is exactly Aliens because there's all the eggs. It's that's the whole thing with this army, as I've been saying. Everything is referenced to something else. I mean, that's all that Warhammer 40k is, though. It's all a big hodgepodge of every other sci-fi all put together. But with the Votann, with the squads, it's It's exactly what it is. It's the most put together lore aspects and everything of any other faction. Oh, jeez. And I don't hate it. I like it. It's like the new Aliens movie. Like it just brought the best of every Aliens movie. So how could I not like that? That's it. So yeah, I guess in summary, the votann stuff, it added not much. So it said, of course, what does it actually say? If we, yeah, low Leagues of Votann. I guess it doesn't say it's adding new lore. I guess it doesn't say, hey, here's what you need to know. It's basically summarizing everything. It's taking the whole codex. If you hadn't read it, it's taking all the things, because as we saw, the actual warfare part, Leagues of Oak, Battle of Oakveer and everything, it's taking, all these pages and putting, so the Oakveer is the whole campaign's here, but it puts it into one small paragraph for you, just to summarize it up, if you didn't have time. 6 and 7. So this is just talking about the Hankin. Like they had a small paragraph in the magazine when they had a whole 2 pages here. So yeah, we get an actual cool map here. So yeah, it's kind of neat. Doesn't add anything, but I guess they needed it to sort of remind everyone, hey, it's still here, and it does add a few hints. It hints at artillery. It hints that further conflicts are going to happen. And yeah, you'll get some more interesting lore behind it. Like I said, I really want like a nihilistic exiles band. That would be cool if you could have that. So it added a little bit more, but not a huge amount. So if you're expecting like this to be the big thing that reinvigorated and brought the lore and like expanded on everything you already knew, it's not going to have that. This does not expand anything. It just summarizes it and sort of what was hinted at in the codex. Like I said, the creation, if they were actually created on Terra, if they were, it was sort of a very up to interpretation in the codex. Now it just confirms, yes, they were from Terra. Yes, that did happen. So, yeah. But I do like it. So, yeah, should you get it? That's up to you. Like I said, I don't regret getting it, but yeah, you can make your own decision from that. But that's it for this one. Let me know what you think. What you think it hints at, the biggest, what you took away from this, and what you think is to come for Leagues of Votann. But until then, I'll talk to you soon, and see you then.